So welcome to the Wednesday, April 2nd meeting of the Stockbridge Cemetery Commission. The first thing is the approval of the minutes. I got a couple of notes from Pat.
This one right here.
Yes, and I fixed them. So I think we can say that they're fixed and ready to go. So,
Although I'm not certain that was incorrect about the roof fault.
yeah, I wasn't sure it either. And I finally just I put in something. I agree with you. I wasn't sure it was totally
I
incorrect.
think it was talking about both the hearse and
Oh, I'm sure it was, but the next sentence was, it says, PI says, not
in danger of,
in danger of, but which one are they talking about?
okay, I think both.
Are
But
failing.
yes, I agree. It's
That
not
was what I
100% clear. Yes.
But anyway, I put in hers. So,
Okay.
so if everybody's okay with that, somebody can make a motion.
I move we approve the minutes as edited.
We need a
And
second.
the two parts, the two instances of, it's not just.
Well, I did it, truthfully, I didn't think it, for the historical record, I don't think it really matters, but I did fix that one too.
Okay.
Yeah, I fixed both of them. So I need a second on them.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, good. So money, I sent out that big money email. Does anybody have any questions or problems or?
Here, that was a while ago, or
It
did you
was-
send it out recently?
No, it was a while ago. It was-
Okay, good.
Well, about a month ago. It was the same one that, and
Okay.
actually, I think I made my own copy, so I should look at it. Thought I did. Nope, I guess not.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have any comments on it right now.
Well, I just wanted you all to understand how much money we really seem to have, and it's sort of more than I think we all thought.
Which is nice.
It is very nice. And that leftover CPC money is working out really well. It's covering what Ian is doing. And it leaves us with that 77 something available, which we can then put toward the highway, which is what I was suggesting. When you do the resetting, it will take some of that, take that money and go toward that, and that leaves another amount free. So that was the whole thing. I just wanted you guys to understand sort of how much money we have. So it's more than I thought, which leads us to the next part, which is the vault and the hearse buildings. And I have completely changed my mind, and I would like to go forward on both of them as much as possible. I mean, it's going to be a while, but I wanted to run this by everybody else. I would like to go forward with them both.
Based on your understanding of what's left for money
Yes.
to spend.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we'll be able to cover both of them completely, but I think it'll be a couple of years before we face that. We'll be able to get down the road. And then at that point, we can ask CPC for more money. We can ask the town for more money, but it won't be a vast amount. I don't think it'll be. So how's everybody feeling about that?
So are we clear that if we don't get the money, can the partial improvements be at a logical location for stopping?
Well, no, we are not clear at all because we don't know what
Right.
anything.
So
So that would be something we probably want to find out.
yeah.
And I don't think you can go for any reimbursements now unless you have full coverage of the project.
Oh.
I think that's what the new agreements that have come out in the last couple of years that the town has made you sign when you have,
Oh.
Community Preservation Act.
the CPC
Right.
agreement contract that you sign with the town.
Right.
I believe it says that you can't get reimbursement for anything if you have not got the project fully funded, which is,
That doesn't sound at all familiar. And certainly they've,
but I think we ought to look at that.
yeah. Well, also, we don't have to go back to CPC. We could go to the town and say, we have 25,000 left to finish the Hearst building,
Yeah.
right? I think that's what we're talking about.
Just to understand timing, so we have approved Preservation Inc. to do RFQs for
The vault.
the vault, and I think at the last meeting, we approved the Hearst House.
Didn't. I said, let's wait.
That's right, I remember you were correct.
I was like, no. That's right. No, but I have changed my mind completely. First of all, it occurs to me that the money that we do have from CPC for the Hearst House, which is 55,000, can cover the Hearst, that RFQ money. And we only need 75 upfront, 7,500 upfront, because the rest of it is when it actually happens.
Yeah.
So I think we should go ahead and well, that's what I'm proposing to everybody, that we go ahead and do both, as much as we can.
And so again, and just to understand this, as you're indicating, this is sort of a long process.
Yeah.
The first thing we would do is approve the Preservation Inc. proposal to create an RFQ, for which they've quoted 16,000, but you've noted really only like 7,000 of it is.
Right. Well, the Hearst is 19,3. That.
Right, I'm looking at the vault here. Yes, Hearst is 19.
But again, only 7,500 up front.
Because we only talked about phase one.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
And so, and where do things stand with the vault RFQ? Is
I haven't
that,
done anything other than we've approved it, and I sent that information into Michael, and that's all we've done. So the
and
next,
Preservation Inc. is supposed to do something though, right?
I had it in front of me. My printer is out of ink. I don't
I actually got it here.
discovered that this morning.
So, right, so phase one of the vault RFQ is preparation of the RFQ for $7,500. So presumably they do that at some point, and then Michael kind of takes it from there.
That's right.
So both the 7,500 is true for both the Hearst.
Yeah, so they're each 7,500 for the initial prep
Okay, so,
of the,
so
Yeah.
RFQs are 7,500 basically.
so, yeah, so, right, and so then we'll have the RFQs, then we'll talk to Michael about timing and what have you. And yeah, and who knows, some of it might not happen till next year.
That's what I'm, yeah.
See, and it partly depends on how fast Preservation Inc. prepares the RFQs, it would seem.
Also to remember where we can get money from is we can actually go back to the main fund that we've gotten the money from before.
Which requires town meeting approval.
Cross town meeting, yeah. But we have 107 in that right now. It'll be a little bit more next year, not much, but a little bit more. So we could take the money from that. I mean, I think the town would certainly approve that. I mean,
I can't imagine the town would object to
Yeah.
anything we want to do.
yeah, like it's hard. I know it is hard.
Yeah.
Although when we have the meetings where we do it now by the numbers, every now and there's always somebody against the cemetery stuff. People, I think, who are you? What's going on?
Especially since you're all going to be going there.
Don't you want it to look nice? Okay, so I guess if everyone feels okay with this, we're gonna.
Oh, it's great. I
just want.
So this
I want to keep moving.
thing maybe we have to approve right now.
Let's give specific money amounts in the motion. And as specific as we can.
Well, this one, and we can with the Hearst. If
We're looking at the two RFQs for,
the first one, we've already done the vault. We've already.
We voted the vault one in January.
and that was the 5,500 or is that? What
That
am I
was
looking at?
It was six.
February, we voted actually.
16,575 is the total. It's 75 up front.
Okay,
So 16,575.
yep.
75 up front. The Hearst we did not vote on because I was anxious about it.
Yep.
And so I resolved all my anxieties and we're ready to go. So that is 19,350.
Yep.
And again, 75 up front.
And so the motion today is
The Hearst.
for the 19,350, of which 7,500 will most likely be paid this year.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
we're
right.
saying.
Yes.
And right, and so maybe, does it make sense for me to make a motion that we approve the proposal from Preservation Inc. for creating an RFQ for the Hearst House? Looking, so there's a date on it anywhere. Yeah, dated February 4th, 2025. So I would move that we accept the Preservation Inc. proposal dated February 4th, 2025 for creating an RFQ for restoration of the Hearst House. plus supervision of the work once it actually starts.
And I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. D? Okay,
That's exciting, right? It's great to go ahead on both projects, and we can obviously sort of see how the timing all works out.
great, yeah, because it's really going to be a while before all that money needs to be up front. Although, and the way Michael's doing it, he will take that whole amount out, so, but.
Yeah, he's tracking like what we've sort of committed to, even if we
Right.
haven't spent it yet, which is great that he's doing that.
But that hers is going to come out of CPC money, and that's the 55, so right, I mean, that 55.
Did you, I saw somewhere in one of the minutes, you were maybe going to talk to the Community Preservation Committee. Did you ever do that, or just decide what the heck, let's spend it
I
on?
kept thinking about it and I thought,
I could see that being a morass.
yeah, and they'd probably have to do another meeting.
Yes.
I can imagine.
Yes,
And we have the money. That's why I started thinking, we have the money. We should just
Yeah.
go ahead and do this.
I agree.
And the vault is very clear. It's going to be cheaper and it needs more work. It needs kind of more work more rapidly than the Hearst does. So,
Yes.
all right. So, Hugh, did you get the notes, the questions I sent you?
Or, no, I'm sorry, I
Oh
didn't.
my goodness. Oh, I sent them. Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. This has to do with the,
Oh. Okay.
You did read it.
so landscaping is what I want to talk about next. And there, you can look that over. These are some notes from, working with Lisa Parker. The three of us, or two of us met, Lisa, and, we have a possible location for the, flag space, the meditation space, which we're going to look at on Friday at 3:30. The other thing I wanted to talk about is deciding how much money we'd be willing to spend with her this year to have her prune things and just start that update that we know we need to do there. There's times we walk by stuff and she'd say, oh yeah, I just need to prune this. Other things she'd say, this can come out. So,
And she sent us an email with her hourly rate or something.
she did, and it varied a little bit. I was thinking that we could come up with, let's not do more than.
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
do a contract with her that says nothing more than
Yes.
a certain amount. So, is everybody okay with the idea of having her do this work now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
yeah, I really like to, I would really like to get started.
You're talking about the
Pruning.
pruning as well as the design flagpole?
Oh,
area?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So, and I think she will just work within whatever we give her, so.
Right.
I was thinking something like no more than 9,000 or no more than 10,000. What does everybody think about that?
And that does not just include her labor. That also includes planting materials?
I think it does based on.
And what about the flagpole cost? What's
That's
being
gonna,
covered?
I like your idea that we go back to the town for that. That we,
I agree with that.
because it's not something. In fact, I think the whole flagpole thing should be to the town.
I agree.
So we should ask her to do that separately.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately,
Is that something that we could go to the town this year for?
well, we have to get,
Right now.
it is, I think it is too late. And also we have to get certain kinds of information about, so there's two parts to this. There's the pruning and restoration in a sense.
Yep.
So I would like to see that be not more than 9 or 10,000. I believe I'm comfortable. I think that would be comfortable. That's one reason why I sent you all that money stuff, is so
Yep.
you could have a chance to look that over and see. We could make it less too. I mean, if,
Right.
And I forget, what's her hourly rate? Do you remember?
no, it's different. I wish I had. Yeah, well, look at you without your computer today.
Doing it on the phone, like.
I know.
Actually, I can't get to my town email.
I never can either.
I used
Yes.
to, but now it doesn't update.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
stuck in 2000.
Yeah, the town account is.
And I really thought I thought I had that stuck with me, but I apparently do not, so. And I just,
So your proposed amount would include the design for the flag or not?
see, I think we need to talk about this because I feel very protective of our money and I'd like it to go as far as it can go. This is not something we wanted to do.
I agree.
And so I feel like that should,
So she did say pruning excluding the shrub border. Okay.
Right.
Right. We don't want her to touch the shrub border right
Right.
now, I don't think.
no,
May take only a day or two and can range from 500 to 1,500 depending on what needs to be done.
oh,
That
well,
was really-
1,500 is not bad
Right,
at all.
right.
Um, I guess, yeah, so I,
And do we need to vote that today or can we talk to her on Friday and just sort of say,
I think
what do
we,
you want to do this year and how much is it going to cost? Or has she already answered that question and we're not going to get any new information on Friday?
yeah, look at it again. What does she say?
she works within a town budget and she knows towns don't pay her typical fee, which could be 200 an hour if she's doing integrated pest management stuff. So she says she's got a sliding scale hourly fee for pruning, deadheading, watering, fertilizing, general maintenance of 125 an hour. And that it may take, she says a day or two, can range from 500 to 1,500.
I think we're going to be in the upper range.
I think so,
because
too.
There's a lot of stuff there. I think there's probably maybe more than she hasn't really walked around the place. I mean, she's walked a little bit, but not a lot.
It includes her son too.
Yeah, right.
Right, well, that's
That's
what
part
that
of it.
figure
Yeah,
says.
Yeah, I know.
So it's two people, not just one.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like whatever the number is, it's a lot lower than we had
Yeah,
speculated. So I'm all for having her do as much as she's psyched to do that we're supportive of her doing. And it strikes me, maybe we'll get more clarity on that on Friday, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. And I like the idea of going back to her and being able to say, we can pay up to, a certain amount
It
and
sounds like that's how she works with other cemeteries.
Yeah.
She's
So maybe
in a bit.
maybe she'd be more happy she had an amount. So, but it sounds like 10,000 would be way more than she has.
more than, yeah.
We'd say like 3,000 or something.
That seems a little low.
That seems
given-
too low, yeah. I think
5,000?
the 9 or 10 makes more sense.
Well, and then there's her cost for being involved with the flagpole thing, right? Which is something different.
And that's different. And that's what's hard about this is that I don't want to make her work without being paid. That's, I feel. sorry.
Yes, and I was wondering about that too, just in terms of us going to the town, like if we end up going to the town in 2026, saying, here's the flagpole project, it's going to cost X to install the pole. We've already done all this design work that we've already paid for. And we say to the town, appropriate X dollars, which will include what we've already spent plus what we anticipate spending. Is that something one can do? I don't,
Yeah,
that strikes me maybe.
Well, I think
In terms of the cemetery budget that comes under you, do we have money to work with? in
Yeah.
that?
we do have some money. I think the flagpole's a new project and I think the pruning and stuff isn't maintenance. It's more of a restitution, rejuvenation project, it's kind of
Yep.
like I think once it's established and it's a little bit more sticker shock this time. You need to get it. Well, you understand.
Right.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
we need to get it.
Moving
Yeah.
forward, it's not going to be.
Yeah, and we wouldn't necessarily need her every year,
Right.
that amount
It'd be
or,
nice to have her come in and consult, have somebody that, because
yeah,
she might identify things that, I don't identify, she knows what to look for. So
yeah,
it'd be nice to have her, or somebody, I should say.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
this year could establish a base
Exactly.
for
right,
which we work.
yeah.
The highway department can.
It's like when I first hired a cleaning person to come in our house, they charge a whole lot the first day.
Yeah.
And then it's lower after that, but,
Right.
um,
And most of the stuff, I don't know how she works or how she wants to do it. I guess we'll find out more at the meeting is can be dropped and we can just come behind and clean up. So that can help ease with it a little bit as well.
Yeah,
She would love that.
I don't want to take work from her. I don't know how
No,
she works. So, or I can provide her with a truck to throw it in, whatever.
yeah.
Maybe we
Oh,
can help.
yeah, that would be,
Whatever.
anything you can do to help, because
Whatever.
I'd love to have her be the pruning person as opposed to
Exactly.
picking up person, yeah.
Right. Use her talent.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But that's, but
I know
that's,
she had a question about the lilac bushes along the White's driveway as to whether those were town or,
I'll have to check on the
'Cause
map
the-
there, because we're right where the railing is there a metal post there?
there's the
granite
end of
post.
the fence that goes along Main Street is there, and actually the driveway almost goes beyond that. You know, I mean.
Ooh, I see what you're saying. It almost
And the
encroached that,
lilacs,
doesn't it?
I was wondering if the lilacs were maybe the Whites wanted them planted as a divider.
a barrier
and
divider,
they
yeah.
Had them planted,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually on town property. So I wanted to talk to Jennifer in the building inspector's office because she's actually a White.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So-
So that would be great, yeah,
Yeah.
do that. But
I went the other day, but she wasn't there.
oh, but the question of, how, you know,
That's an example of one of the areas that she would like to do.
I know she really would like to do the lilacs. A little lower on my personal list, but there's the stuff growing up out of it. Also, I'm assuming she could even identify, you should take this out, and then maybe you guys could take it out. I don't know, but, well, maybe not. It depends on what it, oh, it depends on what it is and how big it is, and, yeah, well. But anyway, so, do you think 9 and 10 is 9 or 10 is good?
She does say, I generally work within a 10,000 yearly budget, depending on the projects. I often found it most cost effective to charge a flat rate rather than hourly fee as the budget is so tight. Then she goes on to talk about some of the other private lots. But
But if she said $125 per hour for a day or two, so 10 hours is $1,250. So even if she does double that, it's still under 5,000. And yet then I've still got this question in my mind about the flag
Yeah.
design stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I think if we have a flat amount and we get from her maybe a list of the items that she sees that needs to be done.
yeah,
And then we can prioritize
yeah,
those.
great idea.
And then she can just work on those in that order until she uses up the money.
yeah.
She'd probably be more comfortable with that too.
I think 5,000 sounds good to me. How does it,
Let's do 5,000, I
now
think.
let's do, all right,
And that's just pruning, et cetera, not the flag
not the flag.
design, whatever.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that. So we need to do an approval of,
We have an estimate from her as to how much the flagpole portion would cost.
No.
The design of that. We probably ought to get a ballpark.
well, we're going to see her
Friday.
on Friday. And I have the
Yeah.
feeling that Friday, your idea of making a list would be great. She's talking about doing something in April. So I think we need to move really quickly. We might even be able to do it on Friday. We might be able to walk around and say, and she says,
Yeah, I think
this
that,
first and this first and, then second, third,
yes,
because I think I want to get her while she's available right now. She says she has a couple of days
agreed.
in April. So we'll work on that on Friday. Maybe she can give us an estimate on the, she is actually working, I think, already on the flagpole stuff.
Right, I don't know that, I'm worried 5,000 is gonna be too tight.
Well, for pruning though, like that's,
Just for.
that's like four
not for
or
pruning.
5 days of pruning.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a lot of pruning, but we also could set aside
Yeah, a separate number for
separate number.
flagpole design.
Yeah,
And we can maybe have her mark the things that she thinks should come out.
yes. And then we can decide
Yeah.
what's, yeah.
Well, and Hugh, are you going to be able to come to this meeting on Friday?
Yes, I gotta check, I gotta,
So 3:30 on Friday.
yeah, I gotta,
So, I mean, that'd be great. Like
Yep.
you could be right there and,
Mhm.
you two can talk what's practical and what isn't.
So then we should set aside, I agree with you. I'd like to get the money from the town, but I don't want to ask her to work and not be.
I agree. So it strikes me we could pay her and hopefully we'll be able to get it from the town later. And if not, whatever, we
Yeah.
did our best.
Yeah.
But because I think the greater cost is going to be the actual putting in of everything.
Right.
So if the design ends up coming out of our pocket, it won't kill us.
Yeah,
And the purchase of the benches and
right. And then,
Yeah, all that. Let's not do that until the town is.
Well, the purchase of the benches, so I don't know, if we're talking, what kind of benches do we talk about?
I was hoping to do a granite,
So I mean,
With a back or just plain bench?
plain. That's what I was thinking of, it was,
Yeah, that sounds good.
so just the price of a bench alone, right? Those are expensive.
But that's going to be for the town.
Curved bench too.
We'll get a plan. Maybe we'll even do like an RFQ type of thing. I don't know, before
So
the,
we need to be clear that is this budget we're setting for the flagpole, does it include those benches?
well, it's
No.
only going to include design as far as
we're
Lisa.
only doing design right now because we just don't know what the rest of it's going to cost. Then that's the questions that Lisa had for you was about that, about the, because we know you put one in your other, at the transfer station. So we wanted to get some information about.
Yeah, all that depends on the height of the flag and stuff, you know, I mean, that'll dictate how big of a, you know, footing it needs and
Yeah,
benches, and then the material I was looking here, what we've done is we run a driveway mix, like an airport mix. Then the top couple inches, you mix a stone dust with a pea stone or something, and that gives it a lot better surface to walk on, and it's so cumbersome to walk
Bushy
on.
under.
Yeah, and it's not so, you know, uneasy to walk on with a 3/4 minus, so, you know, we run a 3/8 round stone dust and do that and wet it in there. But a lot of this, it's hard to say until you know what you're doing, you know what I mean?
I know.
That's,
So,
So we did talk about a 25-foot flagpole. That was the request.
yeah, I mean, that, I just made a simple box footing and put a piece of, schedule, 40 in
Uh-huh.
as a chase, and then you just stick your flagpole in there with wedges and plumb it up, then put sand around it. And then if you ever gotta change it, you don't have to
oh, you don't have,
pull it out and clean the sand out, do one in
how tall is the one at the transfer?
25.
That's 25? Okay.
I was just about to ask the same question.
Okay, so we get a sense, so either a 20 or a 25 is what they asked for 25, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, we can accommodate that, I suppose. I think maybe we should set aside we could ask her,
Now, let's ask her.
let's ask her on Friday, what is it gonna cost for her to do the plan, the design plan?
She's going to show us something, I think.
You think she's gonna show us something?
Yeah.
We'll have to ask her what she's already,
Yeah.
we'll have to find out. But I don't think we're talking more than 4,000. I mean, really. I can't.
For her time, I think,
For the design.
clearly, I think that's clearly the case.
Right.
Yeah.
And I must say, I am hearing maybe that there's an economical way to do this whole project with Hugh's help.
It sounds like she's more than fair with her billing.
Yes.
Oh,
What I'm
absolutely.
hearing, you know what I mean?
Right,
So-
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
And it's hard to ask for none of money till we have a real plan and defined number of what we're asking for, right?
How do you mean?
I mean, if we go after town money, it's nice to know.
Oh, yeah, we need to know kind of what it would be. Yeah, absolutely.
So with the town also, if we know we have a budget that we're working within, and if we get the work done, let's say we get the work done, we now have a receipt to show what it was. Is that something we might be able to pass to the highway department as,
Pass to the town.
or the town? I don't know what qualifies money being spent from the cemetery budget in the highway overall.
Oh, I
budget.
see what you're saying. How do you,
No, is it-
interdepartment
Yeah.
fund transferring is what you're talking about?
Right, you know,
No,
does the cemetery, out of your budget, just account for weed whacking and the mowers? Or is there other money that can
There's
be?
a lot of cross contamination.
Okay.
How do you chase gas? I mean, there's so
Right,
much, as long as
yeah.
at the end of the day that everything is within realistic realms. I mean,
Yep,
Yeah.
okay,
so I think that, you know, I think that, you know, still town property, no matter if we're in the cemetery or in.
right,
Right. Oh, well, that's,
We try to be very conscious about what we're doing, but.
yep.
yeah.
And it sounds like we'll be able to figure this out. as we
Yeah,
go along.
exactly.
Yeah.
It'll figure out. It'll
Yeah,
all
just-
come out in the end.
We just need to take one step and then the next.
No,
step.
yeah, which is, I think how I feel about the vault and the hearse.
Yes.
Just kind of keep moving forward. I was thinking about going to the place that did the granite for the sergeant stones, for the benches, and I'll talk to, Ian's got contact there, so.
Alan up Cheshire Granite.
Yeah, right. They do seem pretty,
Oh, he's a very nice guy, yeah.
yeah, and
Sounds like
he'll do a good job, so.
Maybe he's a veteran and will.
He does your post as well. He's the one.
Right,
He's the same guy who does all the
Yeah.
marble posts. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, where are we on? They haven't come in yet, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah,
Not yet. No, but they've been ordered a while ago, so.
I know. He said he was gonna, he's gonna-
Yeah, no, he does great work, so.
Okay, and do you think they might be done this summer or not?
Oh, I would imagine. It was probably nice winter work for him, I'm sure. I don't know what his agenda was or how booked he was. I didn't ask, but
Yeah, right.
he does stay pretty busy, so.
Yeah, all right. So, so let's, I guess maybe the thing we do is just ask her what she would be charging for whatever she gives us on Friday
In terms of design.
in terms of design, and what more does she need to do? And we'll get a figure of that and we can,
And I think the sense of this group is we're fine with paying it. We're not gonna,
I don't want to ask people to do work and wait for 2 years for the money to come through. That's ridiculous.
so we'll hope we can get it back, and if we can't, we'll.
She has to eat too.
Yeah, right, right. Okay, good. So we'll do that on Friday. And, what was I gonna say? Oh,
So hang on.
Okay.
Do we don't need to do a motion or anything?
I don't think we
Lenny?
need to do a motion.
Okay.
oh, actually, I think we do need to do for the list of items, the $5,000 that is gonna go for pruning and stuff. We haven't, I don't think we,
Good idea.
yeah, we should do that. So,
Money.
I make a motion that we set aside $5,000 to pay Lisa Parker to prune and otherwise revitalize the cemetery. That's going on forever. Hope you got all of it.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good. Last thing, I walked around the cemetery a couple days ago and it looks like all the stuff that was sort of cut down is now into wood chips. And that's all still there. So are they gonna come and get that? Are you guys getting that?
I'll reach out to Stone. He hasn't been paid yet for it, so I know I've met him on other roadside projects and he's apologized and we're gonna get there. So I'll have Christine or I will send him a reminder,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah, so,
Make sure, because it's getting, we want to get it cleaned up. I know.
yeah, we're getting closer
Clean
to
up,
May, to the end of May.
yeah, so I'll get a hold of him.
Okay, that sounds good.
I know, we talked about it last meeting as well.
I mean, it's better, but it's just, now we need these big piles of
Yeah, yeah.
the stuff. And it looked like,
Like have probably already made houses.
oh, they probably have. Okay, so the last thing is the burial records, and we had talked about, we want to talk again about what we're doing, what Ian is doing, and how do we, and one of the questions that came up was how do we add to it?
Because we're still going to have the situation where the back of the index cards is not being
That's right.
accounted.
We still need the cards.
Yeah.
Right.
We definitely need the cards.
Yeah. Because of that, I would think that what Ian has proposed is really just for backup. It's not our records. The records are still going to be maintained in the town hall.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I think that should be the master, not this transcribed stuff that Ian's working on. So in terms of work going forward, our procedures don't really change.
Right.
That's,
So you're saying that that's going to be a static backup? So
Yep.
that as new burials happen, they won't put another entry in?
that's what I'm thinking. Because who's going to do that? Are we asking our cemetery consultant to do that? And so then they still have an extra step of doing the
So we will
spreadsheet
not-
and then going to the town clerk's office to draw on the back of the cards. So
So who owns the spreadsheet?
We do.
So shouldn't that go to the clerk?
It won't be in the clerk's office. It will be online. It'll be something you can access, something you can get to via the
So
town website.
If we're only having 10 or 12 burials a year, like how hard would it be
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna add. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
to update it?
because if you just have it as a
Even if it's every
one-time
few months or
shot,
something.
backup, that's
I agree.
pointless.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
so my concern is that these two things are gonna, if we are maintaining the spreadsheet and it's like, maybe the card, front of the card will get updated, most likely it won't. And oh, maybe the back of the card will be updated, maybe it won't. I think we are setting ourselves up for having two distinct sources and we won't know which one is the real master. I think it's a mistake to transcribe the front of the card and not do something with the back of the card. I think we're setting ourselves up for this, like, which one's on first kind of thing.
But isn't that a different question from updating on a rolling basis?
Yeah, I think it actually is a different question. Yeah.
So the question is, which one is going to be updated and who's doing the updating? Are we asking Richie Atwood now to update the spreadsheet? Right, so we're altering his method.
Well, no, we're asking, we might be adding to his method. He still has to do the card.
So he does the card and
does-
somebody in the clerk's office puts an entry into the spreadsheet.
Well, that is one,
Or he could put an entry in the spreadsheet, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever we're paying him, if we have to pay him a little more.
well, that's, yeah.
That's the question.
I think that is the question because it kind of makes sense. Thought I had this.
I mean, so one of the problems we're also trying to solve was the fact that there was one weekend that he had to do a burial. and
Yeah.
He couldn't get access to the cards, right?
Right.
So this can help that situation if he has access to the spreadsheet online somewhere, but he still doesn't get a view of the picture of the burials in a lot.
Right.
So, right, so it's right, so certainly there's two questions. One, how are we gonna continually update? And two is, I think you've raised a valid concern. You did a prior meeting of, what about the back of the cards? There's images there. And Ian said, well, that's a whole more bigger deal to capture images.
Right, because it's a scan versus
Yes.
a handwritten
So,
description.
so yeah, so we have those two questions and.
And I would think that the back could be, take a cell phone, take a picture of it, have a file name associated each one and add that to the spreadsheet, a column in the spreadsheet that would say, what's the file name for the back of the card?
And so, yes, that could resolve it. And then we need to update, just like the data in the spreadsheet, we would update the digital image at some point. So does somebody hand draw that on the back of the card and take a new image of those 12 new burials a year, whatever they are? And all of this is, we had talked about getting a new cemetery database, an online cemetery database. What we're manufacturing right now with Ian's help and, potentially somebody clicking with their cell phone is,
It's a whole system.
it's a system
Yeah.
that is full of holes. And so my concern is that we will do more damage to our records than good by taking this piecemeal approach. So I really do think if we're going to be spending some kind of money on maintaining records, we should do it in a more rigorous way.
Has anybody talked to Richie? And
No,
but he may have an idea or may.
Yeah, I don't know that he-
I have, this
That's a
is
good
out of my
idea
wheel.
for a starting point.
This is
Yeah.
out of my wheelhouse, so I don't know.
No, but it does seems to me, he is the likely person to do both.
Right,
Do the card and then go online and update the other thing.
right.
And couldn't that be online? I mean,
It's online.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's used to doing that stuff. Not everybody can update a picture online. So that's, something that.
Oh, not a picture. I mean, just the basic of the information. Because you were saying we're not going to be able to update this spreadsheet. But if part of his job is to do the card and update the spreadsheet,
Yep,
that would work.
But what people would have access to via the town website should be a file that nobody can update.
right.
Because you don't want the Mongol hordes of Attila the Hun public being able to being able to modify and adjust a
Oh,
file.
right.
That's-
There's no way
that's
that, right,
verboten.
exactly, right.
So that the file that is periodically loaded up to for website access would be not the main file, it'd be a copy of.
Right. It would be a
And so,
It could also be a PDF.
PDF
You
of
can't
the
touch it.
yes, right.
Yeah.
That's the way our GIS works. Anybody can go on there and look at it, but nobody can go on there and alter it without the
Right.
password. You gotta, only certain people are
Ah,
allowed.
there we go. See, that's,
I think that would probably be the same, I would imagine.
yeah, that,
But I agree with, I think whoever's doing the digital, it'd be nice if they kind of had hand on the hard copy too, because I think that's the only way to make sure it's done.
yeah.
right.
I guess,
That's out of my wheelhouse.
And couldn't Rich just take a new picture if he updates the back of the card with, okay, and here's where Mrs. Smith ended up? We could take a new picture and we could replace the old picture.
I think that's why we need to talk to him.
Yes, I agree. We have to talk to him.
Yeah.
and I guess my question is, why can't the town clerk?
It's not
update
something
this
she
file?
does right now.
Pardon?
Yeah, and he's more expert. Like,
It's not something
let's have the guy who does it, do it.
Also, it separates out the two pieces of information in two different people. And I think the chance of,
Great, thanks.
she was saying could happen. If Rich is responsible for the cards, that he can be responsible for this other relatively minor piece, But if we separate them out, well, maybe she takes her time, but getting it in, it isn't getting in and.
So let's talk to him and then we'll know more.
Yeah.
Karen, you're designated to.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Because we've already voted to have,
We're going to have this database.
We are having the database, yeah, so that, and,
Doesn't have the pictures in it yet. So that is a whole question.
right,
What are we going to do about the back of the cards? Because there's a lot of cards, right? But I think Ian can even give us more advice about that once he's done. Like he was talking today with me just about how, well, there's actually a lot of duplication in those cards. And he's going to be, in a sense, condensing the number
yeah.
of.
well, I think going forward, if the new things, that we can have him take a picture of the back of the card and label the file with the identity.
We've already approved the amount of money that we're paying him and it's just for this transcription part.
No, I don't mean him. I mean, when Rich
Ah,
has a new burial,
yeah,
that he update the file and take a picture of the back
Mhm.
of the card
mhm.
or a picture of whatever he wants to do and label that with the appropriate name for the file. And then I would think that there should have Preservation Inc., when they develop the spreadsheet, add a column and just title it, back or whatever they want. And it'll just be the file name of what the picture is. And then we can go back at some time and take each of these cards that we already have and take pictures of them and label the file and put that into the spreadsheet.
We can certainly
Yeah.
talk about doing that.
Easy enough to do.
Yeah,
So it strikes me this is a continuing project.
Yeah.
Step one is talk to Rich Atwood and,
And
Ian's working. We'll have more information from him as time goes on and we can just continue to.
yeah.
We
Figure
should
out how
go
best to
into
do
that
it.
file once we own it. And put in extra columns, whatever we want to do.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
that's with
We can
spreadsheet.
hire someone to do it all, but.
Right, right.
We have to feel our way. We don't need to decide it all today.
No. But I do hate to give up and say, well, this is just going to be this one record for now, I'd like to,
It should be a workable
we should be able to add to it.
database going forward.
Right. Okay, all right. That's it from my list. Is anything else for,
We're meeting again on Friday, right?
we're meeting again on Friday?
You think of something else.
Right. Our next meeting was going to be like 3 weeks from now or something like that. I'm wondering if we should meet on April 29th, which is a Tuesday. And then we would go back into our regular So I want to run that by everybody.
Thursdays.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. You got a lot going on.
We do, and the idea of skipping.
Yeah, we keep
Well,
kicking a can. I mean, it's not kicking a can, but there's so many things.
So I had April
Oh.
29 in my calendar. Is that like, was it,
that's because I had put that on the, I think I put it on the,
and had we ever said we weren't going to meet then?
oh,
Let's meet then. I agree.
okay, all right.
Is that the 4th?
That's the fourth,
Yeah.
yeah, fourth Tuesday in
Keep
April.
our
Yeah.
regular
Right.
pattern.
Even though, well, we will have then had,
3 meetings in April.
yes. Everything for the town.
That's right. That's right. We're hardcore. All right, so.
Falls under the due diligence category.
Yeah, there we go.
So the list of questions, can you just go over them so everybody knows, because this will be helpful for,
I was wondering what was on it.
yeah.
Um, Are there regulations how far from the edge of the road, new planning can be installed? You know, I don't really know the answers to that, as long as it doesn't encroach the right of way of the easement of, like, say, the town, like a sidewalk or something like that. Is that the question you're
Yeah,
asking?
why are we asking that question?
Yeah, what is this
Yeah, that question.
question? And who are these questions for?
These are for Hugh, these are from Lisa.
Oh, yeah, are there regulations how far from the edge of the road a new planning can be installed? You know,
That's what,
so I can check the bylaw. I'll have a better answer on that for Friday.
oh, that'd be great, yeah.
I'll check my bylaw.
But that, I'm not really sure why she asked that question. I mean, that may go to some of her more ambitious ideas.
So this is just for the flagpole area.
Oh,
Oh, this is just for flagpoles.
Oh,
This is not Main Street or anything.
No.
Flagpole.
Yeah. She just wants to know how close can she get?
okay. And when she says the edge of the road, does she mean the driveway?
The driveway.
There can't possibly be any regulations with that.
No, I mean,
Would
you're
you
encroaching your own
about that?
property at that point, right?
Yeah.
Well, so
She's
the-
asking, is it okay with you guys? How much space do
Oh,
you need?
So maybe it's not regulations
Is
is the
it?
right word.
Yeah.
So, and,
Or is
and
there
the
any
concern also,
desirability?
Yeah, right, that's right, what it is.
Doesn't impede foot or.
Because
auto traffic.
where we put the flags for the proposed area, we actually want to move it 3 or 4 feet or whatever it was
Right,
to be in line with, so the flagpole would be in line with the grave
Headstones.
markers.
right.
And headstones and
So
stuff.
she wants to put some shrubbery. She's thinking about putting some shrubbery in behind that.
That impede any kind of snow removal or anything.
We don't open it up unless there's a burial or something. That's the only
Yeah.
time we open it up. So as long as it doesn't impede our equipment or cars getting scratched or something, I would say, you know, no. And then, really quick to piggyback, that would probably be another question to Richie about, you know, thoughts and ideas on moving that driveway before we mark.
Yes.
Right, I was wondering about that.
I mean, maybe we'll get him, so we got 2 questions to ask him.
Yeah,
His thoughts, because I know he said we gained
Good.
burials if we did move that driveway over, so.
Yep.
And does that also relate to the
it's done this
sewer
year.
pipe or whatever it is?
Right, we'd be
This
right
year.
along the edge of the sewer pipe because we can't bury there, right?
Gotcha.
So he said if you move that over, you'll gain that spot, so.
Right.
So it does seem like that's a very important question to
Yeah.
resolve before we decide where exactly the flagpole is going to go. But maybe we don't have to resolve where the flagpole exactly is going to go right
The
away.
flagpole is not going to be going in that middle area.
well, it's not decided yet, but
Yeah.
that's what we're going to present to you guys is, but if we do it where we were thinking about it, we wouldn't have to move the road right away. But we should move the road at some point.
We might want to plan in terms of it being centered or something like that.
Let's not be, we weren't, we
Okay.
have a spot
I
for
guess we
it.
all have to be there tomorrow.
All right. What is-
Okay, there are no regulations. Next question.
And what is the depth of the flagpole base into the ground?
Well, you're going to be there on
Yeah,
Friday, right?
Yeah, I can answer these. It
Yeah.
depends on the height of the flagpole. I think mine was 2 foot or 30 inches is what they called. I went a little bigger because I had to order so much concrete anyway, so I overkill everything, so. But yeah, I mean, that was.
These look like pretty specific questions that
Yeah,
resolved right away and Hugh can address with Lisa on Friday to some extent.
Yeah, and to set the base, I mean, you're just building a box, really, that's all you're doing with a
Okay.
chase down the center of it, and this is concrete, and then you got like a 4-inch, Schedule 40 chase that the pole goes in, or unless it's a bigger pole, you'll have to go with a bigger chase, but that's,
The question is, how wide is the base? Like, I mean, maybe that affects where the plantings go or the
Yeah,
benches go. or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I can,
Um, So, yeah. so you
Yeah,
give her
it's
some-
just
you
a
can give her
couple
some
of feet. I
advice.
mean, but it's, because if you take a look at what I did at the highway garage, I poured the base and then there's this stainless collar. And I still planted, winter berries and blueberries around it too. And just encroached it around anyway.
She might want to go look at that. It's like,
She probably has.
Yeah, so that's,
She's already looked at it?
I bet she has.
Yeah.
And
I want to go look at it too. So do you
what were
think,
some of the other questions, just for completeness here?
I was base, we went over, it. How deep would gravel base be needed to provide adequate drainage for benches to be placed within the oval? Well, it also depends on what are you going for benches? If you're just going granite, then you're just looking for stability more than,
Right.
rock protection. So I mean, we're blessed with pretty good soil, but it is wet down that area.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we would probably bring that back up because I think it's just stagnant surface water. That's the issue. So I would just bring it up a little bit. Put a little bit of a mound to the system with the flag post.
Yeah.
Definitely get positive drainage away from everything. Unless she feels that the plants that she's gonna put in want a little bit more moisture. I don't know. That'd be a question, hot potato back to her. But to answer that question, we can just put some good base when we prep the area, dig our flagpole, plan on that being the spot. We'll just make sure we got good solid base under it.
The granite is really heavy, right? So you need to think about, you don't want the
Yeah,
whole
we can
thing
just put a little
sinking down
road.
into the ground.
We can just take
over the
off the
years.
A layer, put a little road mat down in there and put some good dense grade or something in there. Just with the thumb of the walkways, do everything together. And plan on going with a couple inches of stone dust and pea stone mixture or something like that.
Yeah.
Board decides. It makes a real nice walking surface and it's hard, so.
Yeah,
We have a professional here. This is.
I know. So you're going to be able to do some of this work then?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh,
hearing.
shoot.
I mean, he just
No,
did such a great job.
Fine. No, it's
And
fine.
was that the last question about?
I think so. I think I just kind of ran everything kind of together. How deep would the base have to be for drainage and the benches? That's better.
What kind of mix, like whatever. That's pretty micro stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on, what you're looking for, we can, the color of the stone, depends what you want. You want gray from Donovan's, you want a tan from Lane's, or you want a blonder stuff from Segala's. I mean, it depends what you want and what you want for stone dust, white, blue, black.
Wow.
Also,
All these choices we're going to have.
I can-
They're down the road.
yeah, I can bring a couple samples in when we get to that point anyway.
That'd be great. That would be fun.
Yeah, but that's how we've done it and we've had great success over the years doing it like that, so.
I don't think you have to worry about overkill because everybody there is already dead.
There you go. There you go.
Although a lot of people walk through, so. So I think we're good. We're
Yep,
done.
I agree.
And
Excellent. I move we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Good work.